Hi all, Elaine here from MRE Studio Designs, and today I'm doing a special request, and we are going to be making a gingerbread house as a centerpiece for Christmas. So the way I started was I took some cardstock and I actually created uh, my gingerbread house first. I taped everything together, made sure everything fit, and then I labeled each piece and how many pieces I needed for each one. And I'm using green for the roof and the brown for the body of the house. So we're just going to do the house first. Now the brown is, I call it just brown because I had to mix every shade of brown that I had to make enough clay to do this. This is a project that does take a lot of clay. So I mixed everything I had together to get enough. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut out the roof pieces. And of course, I have my roller blade, my craft knife, and my tissue blade. We're probably going to need a lot more tools, but we're going to start off with those. Anything I use, I will leave in the description. So the first thing I have are the roof pieces. I've already rolled them out to the approximate size that I need for each one. And my gingerbread house is going to be a two-story building. So I have a couple of different pieces that I need for the roofs. Okay, so now that we have all the pieces cut out, I want to do some texturing to them. And what I have here is a texture plate with brick on here. So let's see how we're going to do with this. So let's try this one first. Actually, it comes out pretty good. Okay, so that's all of our pieces, making sure that everything is straight. And these are going to go in the oven for half an hour at 275 degrees, the time and temperature recommended for Sculpey Primo. And when that's done, I will be right back. Okay, so all the pieces are out of the oven. Fill in our windows a bit. And we're going to hit that with our light just around the windows for right now. Just kind of get them set up a little bit. And I'm going to put this under my UV lamp for half an hour. I have a LED UV lamp that's got a 30-minute timer on it. And when they're done, and I'll do the same thing with all of the pieces, and when that's done, I will be back. Okay, so now we have all of our pieces, and I have the windows put in them with the UV resin. And before we put everything together, I thought it would be a better idea to at least get some of the decorating done first, because if I try to put them on afterwards and then bake it, they might fall off. So this is what I'm doing first. So I need some of the adhesive, Bake Bond, or whatever kind of adhesive you use. And we're just going to put a little bit around the windows. And I rolled out some of the green. And we're going to put that around the windows as well. And we're going to make some garland to go around the windows. Now you could decorate yours any way you want to. Make sure it's stuck on there good. And you could take any kind of tool you like, dotting tool or a pointy tool. I have this pointy one here. So I'm just going to texture this up to make it look like garland. And I'm going to do this to all of my windows. And I might put some little decorations on there as well. As you see, I have a little bow on that one. And I'll probably put some colored pieces on there. But as I said, you could decorate these any way you want to. And the reason I'm doing it before I put it together, again, is because I have the feeling that if I was to put it together, put these on standing up, they probably would fall off in the oven. So I'm going to continue doing this to all of my windows. Once I'm done, they'll go in the oven again at 275 for half an hour, and then we'll go on to the next step. So I will be back. Okay, so our pieces are out of the oven, and as you can see, they're all decorated. And I was trying to figure out how I was going to put them together, and I think I have a solution. I'm going to take some of the brown clay that I have left over, and I'm going to roll it pretty thin, not real thin, but pretty thin. And we're going to put some Bacon Bond on the edge here. And I've added the clay to the one side, like so. And then we're going to take the other piece, let's get this out of the way, and we're just going to stick them together, like so. Do that for all four sides, top and bottom. Okay. Stick that right on there. Nice and tight against the some Bacon Bond on here. And stick those together. Just like that. And we got one more side to do. Put some Bacon Bond on here. And stick these two together. Oops, I need some Bacon Bond. See? All put together. Okay, so I figured out what I needed to do, and I put a box inside of my little house because I was afraid without it, it might just fall in on itself. So here we go. This is going to go in the oven for half an hour, and when it comes out, we'll try and get the roof on. So this is what we have right now. See that? windows on both sides, back and front. Okay, so I'm going to get this in the oven and I will be right back. Okay, so now that we have the bottom part of the house done and it's all baked, we need to put the roof on. So the person wants to put a tea light inside the house and wants it to show up to the second floor. So what I had to do to accomplish that is I had to put a little notch, cut out some notches in the roof so that when we put the roof on, the light will come up into the second floor. So what I've done is I've taken a little piece of clay and put it on the arch of the house, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. I've already put some bacon bond on there, and we're just going to put this right on there. And again, this is the first time that I'm doing this. If this isn't going to be enough support, then we will add some supports, but we'll see how far we get with this. So, got that. And we're going to need to put some more bacon bond over that. Because the roof is already baked. And I think we're going to do the same with the front and the back of the house as well. There we go. So I think at this point I am going to put this in the oven for half an hour to make sure that this roof stays on nice and tight, and then we'll take it from there. So I will be right back. Okay, so now we're ready to put the second floor together. I have the two side pieces and the front and the back. So again, I cut out some strips of the brown clay, and I'm going to put some bacon bond on this side. Place the piece of clay on here. Smear that all over. And put on the other side. Just like that. Okay, so now that we got this part together, we're going to put this in the oven for half an hour. Just make sure it's all glued together. And then we will put the roof on and put everything together. So I will be right back. Okay, so here's our moment of truth. I have the top section all baked and cooled, and now let's see if it's actually going to fit. Oh my God, it does. Okay, great. So that's our second story. And we're going to put our roof on here before we glue everything together. Okay, so we're going to glue this on just as we did everything else. So I'm going to need some of the brown. Oh, and I wanted to make sure I told you that you have to make sure that the pieces are absolutely cooled off before you start trying to manipulate them, because while they're warm, they are still very pliable. A little hole for the light to come out. Got our little windows. I'm going to put this in the oven again at 275 for half an hour, and I will be right back. Okay, so the second story is on, and it's out of the oven. It's totally cooled off. So now we're going to put the roof on. There we go. Okay, so this is again going to go back into the oven for half an hour at 275. And when it comes out, I think this may be where we're going to end this tutorial. And when we start the next one, we will add a chimney. So I'm going to go put this in the oven, and I will be right back. So here's our two-story house out of the oven. And before we go on to adding anything else, I just wanted to make it look a little bit more like a candy gingerbread house. So what I have here are some candy canes that I made in a different project that I was doing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put some Bacon Bond on one side and stick them to the house, like so. Right along the edge. On that side, make sure I get this Bacon Bond on there. So I think that's all I'm going to do right now. So this is going to go back in the oven for half an hour at 275, recommended time and temperature. So this will be the end of part one, and I will see you in part two. Thank you.